they will use their tactics to their advantage, and they will most likely win again. What I'm talking about today, guys, is the fear-mongering that's going to, I think, get way out of hand for this bird nonsense that's going on. And the reason why I say they're going to win is I'm going to get to that in a little bit, but they're going to use every advantage they have, as they are now talking about having a more aggressive pushback against those of us that didn't take the Mr. 19 arm ticket. In fact, they want to take a more aggressive approach against doctors who took a stand against that, and doctors who finally woke up against the Mr. 19 nonsense. There were doctors who believed in the arm ticket for Mr. 19, and now they're looking back and going, what did I do? I screwed up. I shouldn't have gone down this road. With people starting to wake up, guys, they are trying to figure out tactics on how to get more of us on board, or scare us to a point where even those of us who didn't take the first Mr. 19 arm ticket will take this new one for the bird nonsense. I think that they're going to push the fear button so hard and so often that even people who skipped the Mr. 19 arm ticket will take this one. I could almost bet my life on it, because the problem, guys, is fear, and fear is a motherfucker. Fear controls a lot of people. Fear controls the actions of so many people, because people don't want to do certain things. Certain people don't want to go outside because now they're scared they might get sick. There are people who don't want to talk to other people or go on dates because they're scared that they might get turned down. They're scared that they might get their heart broken. Fear is on all levels and is on an all-time high for everything. There are people who don't want to start a business because they think and or fear that they're not going to make it. Fear controls us on a lot of shit. When I was in Tennessee, and I was standing 5 feet away from a black bear, the first thing that came to my mind was, get that picture. Not, oh shit, I'm going to die. I remember looking and going, damn, that's close. My next thought was, got to get the picture. And of course, I put my bag down and the bear walks away. And only reason, guys, why I didn't get scared, I didn't run away like a lunatic, is because I know how to behave around the bear. And that's because I've been in situations before. I've read enough, on, like not bear survival, but bear tips, that I know how not to react. I know how not to behave myself. I know how to behave myself when it comes to being around bears. So that's why I didn't flip out. And there are situations now where I go in the woods by myself and I'm no longer scared. Now, when my first time alone, I was thinking of all the alien movies, all the mass murderers, the people in the hills, the guys who like to bang their fucking sisters and cousins, and have threesomes, and they come out all fucked up and trying to kill and rape you. You're like, all of that shit comes to your head when you start camping by yourself. But in reality, none of that shit really happens. And the percentage of you actually getting killed in the forest is like really small. And then you have that show, 411, where people are just disappearing for no reason. All of that shit comes in, but I'm like, it's less likely to happen. So knowing all of that and looking at it on a bigger scale, I'm like, you're less likely to be scared. So when you start taking information in, guys, when you start looking at who is running the show and how they want to scare you and how they want to keep you in line with fear, when you know all of this, you are less likely to react in fear. And you're less likely to believe their bullshit. Now, granted, the bird flu has a 50% mortality rate, and that's what they're telling us. I don't know if that's true because we haven't seen those numbers yet. We've seen people pass away here and there. We've seen a guy in Mexico just recently pass away, but he was also sick. We had a girl about a year or two ago who was 11 years old. She passed away. And then you had an old man before her. He passed away. Now, the young girl being 11, I mean, that's a little alarming. But again, that's few far in between. But when more and more people start passing away, that's the ticket they're going to punch to have everybody fall in line. Because people are going to be like, shit, it's killing 50%. What are we going to do? And there you are, you're locked in. Now, am I saying to ignore the 50% mortality rate? No. Look at what's going on around you first, then react. Get the information in and then react. Don't react just on what they tell you on TV. See it firsthand. When Mr. 19 happened, the way they were making it sound like that the people who were going to pass away, they made it sound like everybody was going to die at first. Then they were like, well, not that many. And then I started looking around, looking at the people who were passing away, and I'm like, it's the fat fucks of the world and the weak people of the world. I'm not worried about it. None of us should be worried. None of us firefighters should be worried about it. None of the cops should be worried about it. Unless you were fat, overweight, and grotesquely out of shape, then you had something to worry about. I think the same with the bird flu, but I'm not quite sure yet. I have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, if we start seeing people we know getting really sick and passing away, then yes. And I'm also, guys, not saying to disregard any of the health procedures that they might implement. I'm not saying disregard it. I'm saying do the research, pay attention, and then react to it. Don't react to it because they tell you to. React to it because you did your homework and you gathered the information. But what the fear mongering that I'm talking about is when they have a few people that are sick and a few people that die, they're going to push it hard. If we actually start seeing it, that's a different conversation for a different day. But be careful of the bullshit that they're going to have spread around you. Be careful where you step, because it came out that all of the nonsense for Mr. 19 didn't work. All of the procedures they wanted you to do, put something over your face, stand 6 feet apart, none of that worked. So we have to, again, guys, keep track of what they tell us for the Mr. 19 nonsense. I think personally they're going to come up with more restrictions and more ways to restrict our freedom if this bird nonsense gets out of control. There is going to be heavy fear-mongering with this one. Now, again, guys, if this is in fact really dangerous and this is in fact the mortality rate is at 50%, yeah, then do what needs to be done to protect yourself and your family. But if it's not there and they're just telling us these numbers and people are not passing away from this and people are, if people are in fact passing away, like I said, guys, that's a different ball game. Anyway, other than that, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.